Hi, this is Dave Blair coming to you from DaveBlairMusic.com. And what we're going to do today is a couple of things. We're going to talk about recording guitar, recording in general. And then I'll probably do a second video also for running through my basic rig because I have a lot of questions about that. So first, when you're recording guitar, most important thing is, hey, make sure the person is playing a good part, playing it well. If you don't have that, it's nothing that could save you, no plug-in for that. So make sure you have a good guitar, make sure the guitar has good intonation, it stays in tune. Because once you start layering tracks, put the bass on, keyboards or another guitar, it's just going to sound bad, and it's a nightmare to fix that. There's software now that kind of could fix that, but you don't want to go there. Just get it right in the first place. So one thing I want to talk about, a lot of people don't think too much about, is mic placement. And what it comes down to, you can read all sorts of recording magazines that talk about all fancy techniques. What it comes down to is have a good front end. Make sure, first of all, if it doesn't sound good in the room, then don't even pull out the mic yet. Get it sounding good in the room, whatever you have to do. That's a whole nother video. Once you do have it sounding pretty good, and if you're playing with someone that's good with their rig, they've been playing out live professionally, and they're at a high level, they'll already be have a decent sound that they know works and works for that part. So let's say I have this. So what I want to do is move the mic around. Sometimes it's hard when you do it by yourself, but you could ring out a chord. And what I'll do a lot of times is I'll take my foot and kind of push the mic stand around to get it in the ballpark, and then maybe move it with my hand. So I'll show you, for example, and you'll hear the difference in tone. What I'll do is I will put on headphones and maybe strum a chord or something. The center is where it's brightest. So, and the edge is where it'll be more warmer or dull. That's important to know. Notice as I push it out, depending on what track or sound you're going for. Usually I try to avoid extremes, because somewhere in the middle you really can't go wrong. That's probably too bright. A little harsh, a little brittle. Push it out a little bit. Smooth it out. You get the idea. You hear the massive difference between whether it's here or there. You could bring it out. Obviously, if you pull it out further from the speaker, you get more of the room sound. You put it in closer, you get more of a direct sound. SM57, a Shure SM57 right against the grill is how most, especially rock, crunchy or distorted guitars, but it works fine for clean guitars. 90% of what you hear on the radio, or for most of the history of rock, has been an SM57 in front of the grill. So you can't go wrong. I have it going through an A-Design Specifica preamp, which is an amazing top-of-the-line preamp, into an Apogee Rosetta 800, which is also a very good digital converter, DA converter. But I have no plugins or EQ or anything on this. So move the mic around. There's tons of arguments of on-axis, off-axis, which means on-axis will be just straight, off-axis would be like at an angle of the diaphragm of the mic. Close, far, really move it around till it sounds good. That's all you need to know. Move it around till it sounds good. If you have the tracks that you're going to be playing along with already recorded, that's great. Do it with the tracks playing in the headphones, and then you can move it around till it really sits in the mix really nice. Wow. Who would have thought? If you get it right, the front end, move it around till that guitar sound sits in the mix. Guess what? When you go to mix down, you're just going to push up the faders, and it's already beat. You're going to be 90% of the way there, which is the way you really should be doing it. Think about the stuff on the front end, and then the back end, you push up the faders, do a little panning, basic EQ, and you're going to be 99% of the way there. Then everything else is just polishing it up and making it really present, the icing on the cake. So mic placement on the guitar sounds. A few other things I want to talk about. Notice, let's say I'm playing with a heavy pick, so I'm saying, wow, it's a little harsh. It's a little too harsh. I got the mic where I want it, kind of. It's bright, it's crisp, and it's not, it's not too harsh. But just when I'm hitting it really hard, I'm getting into this part. So what do we need to do? Get some fancy plug-in, switch preamps. How about, let's try this. 20-cent pick. That was a heavy jazz, Dunlop Jazz 3 pick. This is a thin pick. That harshness kind of went away. It's a different sound. It depends on what you're going for. But if I was recording, that's a big difference. To EQ that first sound, to make it sound like this sound, would be a nightmare and impossible. Just get it right in the beginning. Don't be like, oh, well, we'll fix that later. Fix it in the mix is the famous last words of terrible engineers. Another thing, and this is up to your guitar player. Or if you're a guitar player, something you should know is where you're playing. Forget about even changing pickups, or changing guitars, or anything, or EQing. Where you're playing. Sometimes it's like, wow, I almost got the tone, but something. Well, let's say I play up by the bridge. It's kind of hurting my ears a little bit. So let's warm it up by just bringing it. I'll move the pick, bridge, the neck. I'm right actually on like the 15th fret. You get a really warm sound playing right, or even most players don't play strum all the way up onto the neck, but I do sometimes when I want to warm up the sound. Sometimes we'll set up a rig fast, and maybe my treble is too much, or if it doesn't work for that room, or the mic placement and a live show. And instead of fiddling with my pedals and everything, I'll just start picking a little bit closer to the neck, and it kind of smooths things out. And that's a sign of an experienced guitar player. They know how to really use their fingers and their hands and everything at their disposal to get a sound. And also, switching your pickups is also always an option. When you're recording and trying to find the sound, switch guitars, switch pickups, switch pedals, whatever. Or you may come in, if it's an experienced guitar player, he may already have his standard sound that he always uses for that type of thing, clean sound, a crunchy sound, and he might sit down and nail it, and you just got to capture it. So that's in a nutshell, recording guitar.